All right, here we are for the post show. Now, patron members will notice a slight shift in this. There's no video this week.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
You can blame Ascalia.
Ascalia has the camera, and even though we've worked around that in the past by using the iPad and things like that, there's only two of us live in studio this week, and we wanted to include Nika on the post show so that it's not just two of us sitting around talking at each other. So in order to be able to do that, we have to do it with the normal podcasting setup. So we're continuing to sit in the studio. This still does count as the post show, but yeah, it's just taking kind of a different form, different turn than it normally does. So all right, let's talk about this episode. A lot of people identifying that this could have been Salted Earth Part 2,
just because of that one caller. We bitched at each other for 30 minutes.
I think in general, I think the mood of all of us in terms of what was announced at the TGS Live Letter is really negative. Really negative.
I hope Square Enix realizes that.
Well, and that we're not just trying to be negative to be negative. We're
being critical to make sure that the game doesn't go to shit,
and it's genuine too. Like, I'm genuinely bummed out by this. That's the real thing. Is that, like, if I had gone on the air and been like, "Hey, we got a bunch of great announcements this week from TGS. I'm so excited to tell you about them. This is going to be awesome, and oh man, I can't wait for this event." That would have been totally disingenuous, and people
would see through that easily.
I think that's what we used to do a lot back in the 11 days. We used to act as a bit of a cheerleader for Square Enix, and I don't know if that expectation is a holdover from those days doing that show. But it might be. It very well could be.
Do you really think it's still holding over even now, though? I mean, I feel like we've always been completely honest on the 14 show.
Oh, on the 14 show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a good point. Although I do think that we've more recently, at least since Salted Earth, have developed a bit more of an edge and a bite,
right? Yeah.
Where because I think that's because our enthusiasm has generally started to wear thin. I think we were still critical and we were still edgy when we brought the show back, for 14.
We definitely hit our stride.
But we definitely still had the enthusiasm as a part of it. And now, we're doing it, and this is an established thing for us. And we still have enthusiasm and love for the game. But I think that enthusiasm is starting to wear. And when it does, I think it just has a natural way of sounding more critical and more negative.
But I feel like our enthusiasm wears simply from the direct communication between us and Square Enix. I feel like every time we have an episode where we're negative, it comes with like, oh, they didn't announce what they said they would, or, the lack of information or shit to talk about this week. Whereas when they actually give us something, like, you can really hear the enthusiasm that we have. Whereas I feel it's always like a direct result of them not providing, and that's where we're, worried about this.
No, well, I think that's been a concern much more recently. But I mean, even after the honeymoon period from Heavensward had worn off, where other shows were still blowing it constantly, we were sitting around going, yeah, maybe it's not that good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as amazing as everyone's saying it is, and maybe there's some shit that can be improved on.
I'm pretty sure we were the first ones to start that sentiment.
I think we were. At least in terms of the podcasts,
right.
I think that's apt for sure.
Specific to this podcast, though,
it's fine. I'm
sorry.
Don't even worry. I know you were caught. By the way, I do want to mention for the patrons that you might be able to hear it in sometimes, but Juxta was coughing the entire show and was being really good about not coughing into the microphone.
Oh, I didn't hear it the entire show.
Yeah,
so
that was really good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, they know Juxta had a little cold last week, but he kind of sounded really stuffed up. But this one, kudos Juxta.
Yeah, that was.
I got through that whole email.
Very professional.
That was nice.
That was pro.
I got over the cold a couple days ago. I still have the snot and the cough, so
that sucks.
But no, I was gonna mention on this episode we before I was not interested at all in the like in anything, but as we like talked and like delved more deeply into the airship stuff, the sky stuff, I'm actually kind of interested in that, and I'm like, I have a little bit of faith in that
because we outlined all the ways it can be good.
It could be good, yes.
So
exactly.
now we're interested, but watch it be none of that.
But before I was just like, yep, okay, that's the airship stuff. I don't care at all, whatever. But now I'm like actually interested in it, so.
I'm a little nervous that I'm going to be way behind on it simply because my free company has like 3 people who play. Like, what we're trying to do is kind of like take the free company and kind of recreate it, but like the leader is MIA and we don't really know what to do. So.
Why don't you just drop that free company and go somewhere else?
Well, that's my problem. I don't know how to find somewhere else.
Just join mine. Just join CP.
I'll think about it.
It's a place for refugees. So.
Well, no, but here's the thing. CP doesn't have any recruitment policies. They don't give a shit. B, it's actually full of talent. There are really good players in there, so it is a resource. C, anyone, I mean, again, like it's an open recruitment policy. I give anyone who comes over and has an interest in LBR, I'm just like, here, have this free company. Use it if you like it. Ditch it if you don't. But you can make a home for yourself there. Like if you're the people are really pretty genuinely good in terms of
I'm sure
MMO people and they do have player talent too, so they're not a bad resource in that regard either. So it's just something to think about, and it's always there. Like there's no expectation if you join. You're not expected to join a raid static. You're not expected to talk. People will talk to you if you're talking. That's the thing that I like about it, is that they're not like you got to show up at 8 and you got to be a part of raid static B. Like there's none of that, know, and there's tons of people too.
I kind of want, like, I don't necessarily want something with that kind of restriction, but like my problem, as we had talked about before too, is the lack of content for free companies to do together. And I was hoping that this new airship thing would kind of be something that would band free companies together, but if you can do it solo, then I'm not really sure it will do that. But I was hoping to find a free company with focus on the end game stuff. And since like even my raid group is all different free companies, I was kind of like holding out on switching free companies until I saw what the new free company content was going to be, so then I could find a free company who was focused on the end game content. But I'm not sure that that's still going to come to fruition if this is like a solo endeavor.
No, I get it. Well, the offer's always there, and of course to CERN as well. It is what you make of it, basically. Like if you wanted to put a static together for something, you could find people to do it in there. Kyle's done really well in there. Even Ryuichi and Ryoko both have done really well in there. It is what you make of it. If you never talk in there, people won't give you shit and they won't expect you to show up to things. But if you try to organize stuff, you can get stuff done through them. They're pretty good people. So
I don't deny that. I was just hoping that there would be like a reason for a free company outside of the buffs. And I'm thinking
if there was that, I would totally ditch CP in a second. I mean,
that's why I've been kind of waiting to switch free companies. I was just hoping that this new airship content would be a reason for me to want to find an endgame focused free company.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's going to deliver.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like it. I hate to be so cynical, but it just doesn't sound like it. That's the sad thing. I'm kind of getting I'm worn thin on being so cynical about this shit. It's weighing on me, to be honest with you. It's not.
I know, and I think you might end up winning our bet. And I'm really nervous.
I know. I think I might end up winning that.
But it's hard to say. 3.1 hasn't even dropped yet. It should have.
You got 7 more weeks. Don't worry.
We have until like 3.4 or whatever to decide if it's still. I mean, if 3.2, 3.3 comes out and it's the same shit, I might concede. But who knows? Yoshi did promise us that he would give us something new, so
we'll see.
Yeah. I'm not.
But
you're right. Like being this negative is it really is starting to feel like a heavy burden, and I don't like it.
And I don't think that that's just the candor of the show either. I don't think that that's like it's not what we're actively trying to project when we sit down to do the show. I just think that that's the sentiment in the room right now.
It's the sentiment from the players.
From the
I feel
game.
like when Heaven's Word first dropped, the story was really good. The content was fun for what it was at the beginning, and everyone was really hyped. And the genuine like feelings I got from talking to my raid group on through our text messaging or on the game or just talking to players in general, everyone was very excited to play. And now at this point, I don't feel that from anyone anymore.
I know. And I think that's
sad.
That's the thing that kind of alarms me the most about it is that it's not, this isn't something that we're talking about lightly here. I mean, it is the future of the game and its success or failure. And I would be really, really sad to hear about this game hitting a 5 million mark and then
just petering out.
Yeah, it feels like they have a real opportunity and that they blew that opportunity by taking a vacation. I mean, I don't want to work anyone to death. I don't want to work anyone to the point of exhaustion. But, the opportunity, they created the opportunity themselves. And if they blow it, that's on them. But at the same time, they blow, if the game blows, it blows for everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I'm so bummed, and I don't want to be bummed. I really don't want to be bummed out. And look at the numbers on Twitch too. I mean, you've got Miss Kylie at 197. That's the highest person on the FF14 channel.
That's just sad.
It was never, ever, ever like that. It was never like that. At least a couple of people, and we're number 2 at 54 playing music.
Yeah,
it was never like that. If we were at 54, we would be pushed down to the 4th or 5th spot with people in the hundreds above us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't bullshitting when I said it's alarming that Happy and Joe are actively playing other games. It's because there's nothing for them to do here.
They're not pushing the subscribers and viewers that they need, so
they're doing it for their own subsistence, and I don't blame them. I would never. I'd be the last person to sit around and try to call out Happy or Joe for being a traitor to the game, especially when the game is not providing us apt amount of shit to play through and to be engaged in.
Yeah,
I can never hold that against them. I wasn't saying that as a way to be shitty towards them. I'm saying that as a way to say that your most important talent that you have in terms of a megaphone for your community, for your game, are going other places, and they're going fast because their livelihood depends on it.
Yep.
I don't think anyone thought you were calling them out.
Okay.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Okay, good. I was a bit worried about that. I'll be honest. After I said that, I felt like I needed to qualify it, but I decided not to. And in the back of my head, I was worried about that someone may misunderstand or misinterpret.
I think we were in a general downtrod of where the game was going. That I think it came across as there's nothing to do in the game, so people are going otherwhere.
It's good clarification, though.
Yeah.
It added.
Yeah. Oh, man, I just, this is
how much I have to say right now.
I know, it's really...
I feel like right now we're all feeling very sad. And I just really
sad
stopped
and defeated.
talking, and all of a sudden I'm just like, man, I want to be excited about this game again.
I know.
Where's it going?
I know.
And I just feel like I understand some people are saying another 7 weeks isn't that long, but it is.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
And especially when your players are burnt out, either by they've cleared it and they have nothing to do, or they're just burnt out because it's hard, or they just don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. What do you do for the players who don't want to play your game? You need to give them things that make them want to play your game.
Right.
And delaying the game by 7 weeks and then giving the same old bullshit is not going to make people want to play.
I totally agree.
And heaven forbid if they fucking make Sky hunts in the sky.
Oh God,
that might be the death knell of the game. If that system that they're working on, that's the only thing that's really going to save them at this point, is having a system, an event that is new.
Yeah.
If they just give us the same stuff again, then why do we wait 7 weeks for this?
Right.
No,
I totally agree. Fuck, I'm so worried. I mean, I don't know that I was that worried before. I'm worried now. I really am concerned. Fuck, man.
Right?
Yeah.
When does that Metal Gear Solid Online come out?
I know, man. I feel like, gosh.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, Metal Gear Online. There was the one that was out for MGS4 was really, really awesome, and then those servers are down, and the PlayStation 4 one's coming out at the end of October, I think, and the PC one's later than that. So I feel like at least for the people who play on PS4, they're going to have something to bide their time until the patch 3.1 drops.
I'm so bummed. I'm so bummed.
And I hope. I mean, we sound really, really negative, but I hope this patch proves us wrong, and I hope that this patch is going to come out, and our next episode after that's going to be like, guess what, guys? All of our negativity was.
I would love for that to happen.
I want nothing more to eat my words.
I would love nothing more than to be absolutely wrong and off base about this.
Because I just feel like we're so like depressing right now, and we're not trying to be. We want the game to be good. We're not like. I don't know. We
are critics of this game because we want to succeed and be good.
Yeah, it's not a thing where we're. I don't feel like I'm being overly critical, and I feel like some people in the chat may have thought that I was. There were more than a couple of pissed off people in our chat today, and who just wanted us to move on from the discussion, which is really interesting because I don't know what we were supposed to move on to. If you want us to move off of this discussion, okay, well, what do you want us to talk about exactly? What is in this game for us to fucking talk about? Honestly, like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
What else could we have talked about instead of this?
I think they just thought we were talking in circles.
Oh, well, we may have, but I mean that's kind of a talk show in general.
Yeah.
I noticed that that there were some frustrated people in the chat that just were not happy with the way that the discussion was going. There was one person in here that kept just going, you're creating problems that it's not an actual problem. It doesn't. You're trying to find solutions for problems that don't exist. And
well, that's what I do think you were doing with that one conversation, but I won't go there again.
I know. I think I have been hammering this point for a long time. Incentive is a big problem in this game.
It definitely is.
And there are ways around it, and that's just one suggestion on how to do it. There are more extreme ways to do it, which I think I've always thought that a better way to do it is make raid gear definitively outclass the tome gear. But if they're not going to do that, then you got to think outside the box. Definitely. You got to think outside the box, and then having a piece of gear that is so difficult to obtain because it's got low RNG rates on it, but gives a significant, not just advantage, but like significant stat boost. But you know what? You're right. The problem in there is that there's really no point to it. Once you have that, there's nothing that you can then take on that has a challenge that justifies that excellent piece of gear.
Yeah, my red group is more likely to grind for it if there was a reason to need it other than status. Because there are a few people. I feel like the people who care about status are the ones who rush for world first, and once they get world first, they have that status.
No, I think that's what the mood is now, because that's what Square Enix has reinforced in their player base. But I think if you look at other MMOs, strip out your context for 14, go back to 11, and really ask yourself what made you want a piece of gear in FF11? What made you pursue a piece of gear? This
is what I was talking about in the problem is the vertical progression. In 11, you wanted a piece of gear because it was the best forever. And once you get it, you literally had the best gear that nobody else had because it was always the best. Like in this, it's hard to even want that piece of gear because it's only a status icon for 2 months.
Right, exactly. And, okay, so fine, maybe a 240 buy, but you know what I mean?
But even still, it wouldn't, I just feel like it's because of the progressive eye level. Whereas
yes, you're right. You're right. It is 11 because
now, but having the relic or a riddle, or I even saw people recently talking about getting a Kraken club. That was the best then, and it's the best now. 10, 15 years later, it's still the best. Whereas in this game, it'll be the best in a status icon. Even if it was a 240, even if it was like a 300 body.
No.
After a couple of patches, it would be gone.
I totally agree with that. But the thing is that knowing that restriction, how do you work around it? Knowing that Square Enix isn't going to just go, oh, suddenly we're not going to have strict vertical progression anymore, right? Like if they made that decision,
they should have made it at the expansion. I don't know if you can do it now.
Well, no, if they wanted, like given what they have now and what they've set up and the player expectations that they've set up, the only thing that they could do is make a set of gear that outclasses whatever we have. Then that set of gear will get outclassed in time, but it will take a longer period of time. That's why I was saying, put a 240 body in, and then 2 patches down the road instead of 1 patch down the road, it'll become irrelevant, right? Or that was the point that I was trying to drive home. Or let's come up with a set. Right? Let's come up with a set that's i300, okay? And that's going to be at the end of 3.5, let's say all of our gear is supposed to be i300, okay?
Okay.
And you have your binary progression systems, which is raid, gear, and then you have your tome gear. Those are both paths to get i300, right? But if you had this system that would put out i300 gear at a very, very low rate through accomplishment of current raids like Alex Savage, then you would be building towards something, right? Like, okay, so it's not a body piece in A4. It's hands that come out of A4, right? But you have these i300 hands now that will be relevant in patch 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, up to 3.5 when we get the rest of the gear that will class with it, right?
That's an interesting idea.
And then you have actually at that point at i300, you have 3 tiers of progression because you have people that have been building and working on it the entire time. That gives them a leg up in the whatever the current raid that exists in the game is, right? It gives them a bit of a stats advantage, but it doesn't outclass absolutely everything. It just outclasses the gear that's in there until we get to the end of the logical eye level system, right?
I actually like that because
that's what I was getting at.
Well, then, okay. It makes more sense to give it as a piece really, really rare for the end of the entire expansion series. I do think that makes sense because then that way, when the next set of Alex comes out, they'll give maybe like the feet or the legs as whatever, and then but it also gives you a reason to help people who have never cleared Savage 4.
Yes,
like you can make a deal with those people, like I'll help you clear as long as if the chest drops, I get the piece, or something like that.
That is it. That's okay. I may have to apologize. I may not have expressed that as well as
you said 220, and that had
I know
220 made it not worthwhile to me.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah, I can see where if it starts out as like 3, but I feel like the devs would also have to know where they're going with the final eye level, which maybe they do. But they would have to tell us, the final eye level of 3.x series will be 300, and they could see us building towards it. And then that way, it would be like, out of all the people in the world, like this one person has these 300 hands, and then that way it's not like you have to have it for that. Makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, sorry, I now that I'm replaying it in my head, I did not do a very good job at expressing what the idea was there. Yeah, because that is a critical part of it. That it's just not some random body, and then you get another body that outclasses that as a random drop for the next A8 or whatever. That's not like having like if hands and a head dropped from 3 and 4, you know what I mean? Like, you're building towards that ultimate set that is not necessarily an ultimate set at the end of 3.5, but it is just another path of progression. It's no longer binary. Now you have a 3-tiered system that you can choose to go with.
And that one, even if it's not the best per se, you could glamour it also. And
that too. But you know what would make that even more interesting is if some of those pieces ended up being best in slot. Right? So now you've got an i300 spread where some of your best in slot pieces are 5% drop out of old content, and you've got to go back and regrind that. I mean, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to figure out how to incentivize people to continue to participate in content that is no longer necessarily relevant.
Yeah.
And the problem is that cycle has sped up to the point where we're at a patch where the content now is becoming irrelevant. The content that we just got is becoming irrelevant because people are just fucking over it. You know? Like, at that, damn it, I'm going to have to put this on the end of the actual podcast because that was the actual point that I was driving at, was that, you know, like, if you incentivized it and did it in a way where you know it's not going to break the game, it's going to give some people a statistical advantage for certain parts of the game for a certain period of time, but it's definitely not going to break the whole fucking game. I don't know. It feels like that makes sense to me and that it would work.
Yeah, I think it would work as long as it didn't get outclassed the very next patch. So
exactly,
it needs to be a long-term thing.
You need to be building towards whatever the ultimate set in 3.5 is going to be.
I like that idea a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now we're on that. See, that was the only thing I felt like we weren't on the same page on this episode about, and now we are.
Yeah, because if I knew that there was a 5% chance for something that's going to be outclassed in 2 months, I would never care.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fair. That's totally fair. And I
if
get
it's
that.
something that like literally for the rest of the 3-point expansion,
yes,
it would be the best until we get to 3.5 and I have other options, I would definitely care.
See? Yeah. I see. I think that that's an immediate, and it takes no development time at all.
It takes some time to make the armor set.
Oh, fuck off! I'm sure they have tons of armor sets that are already made that they've been holding back for a while. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's in the 5% rare drop one should also look really cool, so that when someone's wearing it, even if they're just wearing the hands, you can tell they're wearing it.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. You know, yes, that is the whole point of like status gear.
That's my biggest problem with Savage is like I think more people would care about the look of the gear if it wasn't so blasé and it didn't look exactly like Alex's normal gear.
Completely agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, like that's why I'm even just wearing the last like job I have that's wearing Dreadworm, because like look how cool the healer Dreadworm looks. Like I'm wearing it and everyone knows I'm wearing it.
Right.
You know, like it stands out.
Right. No, but and again, I don't think that it's a problem that can't be solved. I mean, maybe that suggestion isn't perfect. But
it's better than what we have now.
It's better than what we have now, and it clearly it's an answer to a problem that we've clearly identified.
Yeah, because it doesn't get rid of the vertical progression problem, but it definitely like will give more incentive for it if they plan on continuing the progression the way that it is.
Exactly, because none of it is going to matter at 4.0. But I mean, you know, like. And that's fine. Like if that's the development strategy that they're going to take.
Especially if it looks cool, because then once 4.0 hits, you know, it won't be relevant. But those few people who cared will have it, and it will have been the best for a very long time.
Absolutely,
and it'll be very, very unique. Not many people will ever have it.
Exactly,
the full set.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
And it stays a status symbol because you say, "I grinded for this 5% drop rate 5 times."
Totally, 100,000,000% that.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a complete best in slot. You maybe make it a little better.
No. I'm like,
but like even if it wasn't, it's still an i300 piece where you're going to have 210, 220, 230, 240. It's going to be the best in slot for at least 8 months.
Exactly. Exactly. And maybe don't make it best in slot among the entire I level 300 range, right? Like just make the pants out of that set best in slot. Right, so the people who really care about the stats and being BIS, they're going to grind for them pants. But the people who want the glamour, they're going to grind for everything. Right, like
and then I think once you have higher gear, hopefully like Alex Savage 4 will be easier, and you can go back and have a better chance at it. Maybe even at that. I don't know if I'd ever want them to up the drop rate on it to make people. But even if they had to,
in 4.0,
in 4.0, once it's no longer relevant stat gear and it's just glams, yes, that's when they would do it.
Yeah.
Fucking pay me money, Square Enix. God damn it. It really
not even pay him money. Just do it.
Just use the idea for fuck's sake. I've thought a lot about that idea, and I really do believe in it, and I think that it would solve a lot of the problems that exist in this game. I have nothing to lust after. I feel like I log in and I do tomes out of obligation, and that sucks. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's why I haven't capped in 3 weeks. Like, between Metal Gear and my work, I cannot find a reason to cap tomes. Like, honestly, if I had more than 2 dungeons, I would be fine with that.
Between Metal Gear and having to fix my computer, I haven't capped tomes in 2 weeks.
I'm thinking, like, with the way that they did it in the I hope that it doesn't work out the same way. Like, they're adding 2 new dungeons. Please add them to the expert roulette, not take the other ones, make them into a different roulette, and then make these 2 the only 2 expert roulette.
Yeah.
Like, that was the worst part of the 2.x series, is that you'd have 3 fun dungeons in expert. They would move those to high level and then add the 3 other ones to expert. So you're stuck with the same 3 dungeons, and then you have like 20 for high level roulette.
Yeah.
And that became
really is annoying.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And now that the high level roulette is only the level 50 dungeons, I'm hoping that they'll keep those, like, keep Never Even Fractal in expert, but add the other 2 to expert also.
They really, really need to add the chemical plant. The ARF.
Yes, and they need to put fucking SOs in that, man. Why do SOs not drop out of that? I love that encounter. I'll do that encounter just because I'm bored, but I get nothing out of it.
Well, I think overall it takes 5 to 10 extra minutes. Plus, if you do it, you have a new person, so they're watching cutscenes, so which makes it take even longer.
Right.
Well, no, that would not happen if it was in the expert, though.
That's true. That would happen a lot less if it was thrown in. Well, wait, but that's 8 man, isn't it?
No,
it's 4.
No, the dungeon I'm talking about, the last dungeon, the ethereal chemical planet.
That's 4 people.
Yes.
That's 4. I thought for sure that was an 8. You're talking about the encounter that ends with the fight against the Asian.
Yes, that's 4.
That's 4.
That's 4 man.
Mm-hmm.
That's inexcusable. That should have ESOs, and that should be an expert.
Yes, it should.
What the fuck?
I feel like the reason. At the beginning, it made sense because you would queue up for it because you knew you were guaranteed to get a new person, and you would get the bonus to the what is the law tomes. You get a bonus law tome because you'd always have a new person. Now nobody's doing it. There's no incentive. The new people are queuing up for ages for it because it's not in a roulette.
And it's a great encounter. It's a wonderful encounter. It's designed very well. The
mechanics are fun.
The mechanics are fun. The
dungeon is fun.
The set piece is great. I mean, it's just everything about that dungeon. That was one of my favorite experiences from 3.0, and there's no reason to ever do it twice. That's depressing to me.
Yeah.
It's got to be an oversight or something.
I can't be.
There's no reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Considering, like, what they did with, like, Castra Meridium, remember, like, everyone wanted to watch cutscenes during that, and like that was literally the only way you could get freaking philosophy tomes.
Yep.
Just by doing that over and over, and they didn't give a shit. So I don't know why they wouldn't put this in a roulette.
It's very confusing. It's very confusing. Man, I don't know. All right. So Juxta on the calls and drops. How do you feel that went today? A little light.
Drops were bad.
Light on the drops.
Super light on the drops. You didn't use any of the do your jobs one.
It's because he had a week out of practice.
I did do your jobs.
No, I didn't hear any.
No, you heard the make up your jobs one.
No, you can't make up your jobs.
No. Go to the very last page on your.
Oh, you want me like
lick my balls?
Like that one?
No, very last page.
That is the last page.
What?
Did you add something you didn't tell me?
Yeah.
Right? This is my last page. Lick my balls.
Oh, what happened? It didn't save it. Fucking asshole system. Let's see if
do you have to refresh? Try refreshing.
No.
Oh, what is that?
There we go. Those are those. And then I'll put those here. And then refresh, and they should be there.
Oh.
Do your job! Do your jobs! Do your job! Do your job!
I love that one. That one's so angry. Do that one again.
Do your job!
Do your job!
Do your job!
I fucking love that one. That's my favorite one.
Where's the chant? I don't know where that one went. Oh, there's...
Do your job!
There's a lot of background noise in those ones.
I know. Well, because it's...
The really angry one was okay.
Do your job! 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 Do your job!
There's an even longer one.
Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
It sort of has.
Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
And that one.
Do your job.
That one's good.
Do your job.
That one's really good because it builds.
Yeah.
It builds. Like that's why it's the longer one, because it sort of like starts organically at the front, and then it really turns into a strong chant
It
there.
reminds me of that meme though that's been going around, like so and so thinks so and so still does their job.
Yeah.
It's from that.
It is from that. That's from the Kim Davis protests.
Oh, that's what that's from?
That's what that's
I wasn't
from.
entirely sure. I thought it was from a show.
No. That was
I
from
knew that's what the meme was from. What's the chant from?
the chant is from the Kim Davis protests. Those were protesters. Those were people inside of the courthouse that were trying to get married, and she was denying them, and they started chanting "Do your job." I thought it would be funny if we got to apply it to a situation where
Healer's not DPS.
Yeah, healer's fucking up, or tank's not paying attention. Yeah, it's like almost tailor made for
I
us.
don't want to sound salty, but it's like, or devs not releasing content on time.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Shots fired.
We could have gotten some mileage out of those today. I apologize. I didn't know that those were not on your array. I'm sorry. I thought they were.
You should have let me know beforehand.
I know. I should have. That was my own fault.
No, that's fun.
So
drops were light.
Yeah, drops were a bit light. Although you had a week off from drops, so
yeah. Well, that's not even it. I just don't feel like I really had. I just wasn't on my game today. It's on me. So.
Fair enough.
Our discussion, I think, was good though. So.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I think the discussion was serious enough that it was able to hold without a whole lot of drops in there and stuff.
Yeah, but there was times when we were going back and forth, and I could have got you guys with a
yeah,
good
you
drop,
could have. Yeah,
I just couldn't find it.
There was a few times where I was waiting for one and nothing.
I can feel it when you're waiting for a drop, and I'm just trying to find one.
So yeah, callers. We had some great callers today.
Mm-hmm.
Did we have anyone that we didn't get to?
We had Shintason and Satori wanted to call in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I got the 3 or 4 new people.
Yes,
instead,
yeah.
so.
It's always good to hear from new people.
Yes.
Always like to hear that. Had a lot of really good emails this week. A lot of them were in direct response to the last episode, which I know I had made it a joke on the show, but I did actually listen to the last episode, and it was very good. I didn't listen. I haven't finished through the email segment yet because I haven't had time. But yeah, you guys did a really great job and sparked a lot of really interesting discussion and thoughts, and I think that shows in a lot of the emails that we got in response to that episode. So really nice job there, guys. So
it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, but I just decided that it would be funnier to to say that I just didn't bother, or that it's non-canonical.
It went good.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. So yeah, what else? What else did we? We're getting geared up for the next Final Encounter cast. That's we've got that penciled in for next week.
Yep.
So hopefully the plan will be to do LBR at 2, and then to have Final Encounter cast follow around 5. Nika, I think Metal Gear Solid. That's going to be some big talking points for us
on the docket.
Juxta, you Mario Maker. That's what you've been kind of.
I've been putting a lot of time into that, and it's. I don't know if I could get anything salty out of it.
Oh no! Well, we don't need to be salty.
Okay,
I mean, not everything needs to be salty. I mean, and again, when we talk about MGS5, I will have a lot of praise for that game because that game is fantastic. But I do have bones to pick with it too. But I mean, like. Have you thought about? I mean, because it is the game that you're playing the most right now. Have you thought about a way that you want to talk about it on the next FEC?
I was thinking about tying that into games that encourage and offer user-created content.
Okay.
I'm not actually exactly sure like what games do that. I know there's like I think didn't Neverwinter Nights offer a lot of that, like making your own campaigns or something?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's actually I'll be totally honest with you. It's not an aspect of games that has ever really appealed to me. To make a level and then send the level to your friend and watch them play it. Like that has never. It's
like the same thing for me until I started playing Mario Maker, and then I send these games and I have Ferris play these games, and it's a lot of fun watching them play it. Otherwise, I don't see. There's not much appeal in me uploading it to other people and having them play it because I'm not in the room. But I love watching her and Robbie and David all play my Mario levels and stuff, and it's really fun. And doesn't Sackboy?
Little Big Planet. Yeah,
that's one.
That was actually a really kind of like a cornerstone part of that game. So,
I never played it.
I have it, and I never played it. It was never really something that appealed to me because, again, I don't really want to make the levels. I want to play the levels.
Well, that's the other aspect of it. Like, it's super easy to just go in and find some levels and play them. And it's like one of their big features is like. To the 100 Mario Challenge, we have to go through 16 levels with the 100 lives, and can you do it?
Interesting.
If you do it, then you win like a little prize. So,
that's cool. So give that some thought about because obviously we want to talk about the things that we've been playing. Not necessarily what's popular or hot. I mean, MGS5 and Mario Maker are both popular and hot games right now. But it's not. I'd like for us to talk about what we're engaged in as opposed to what the latest trend is. So just give that some thought and that we can definitely incorporate that into the next show. I think Metal Gear is going to be a pretty serious theme on that one, which is kind of interesting for you, Juxta, because you have no attachment to that series whatsoever.
I have no basis for that
no
series.
Context for it at all. So knowing that that's something that we want to talk about next week, is that are you planning on brushing up on it at all or preparing? Like, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna try to find some like threads on something awful and see what the general wind is on that, and like look up some like videos of it, I guess, and watch people play on Twitch or whatever.
Okay,
just so I understand like what the game is about. Is it a shooter? It's a shooter, right?
No,
it's a third-person stealth shooter.
Stealth shooter, yeah.
So it's like Halo?
Stop.
Is it a puzzle game?
Stop. Go away. Get the fuck out. That's what we're planning in terms of the next Final Encounter cast. I again, not to go back and keep shitting on and harping on this 7 weeks thing, but you guys do realize that this really puts a strain on us to figure out what the fuck to talk about for 7 more weeks. That's 7 episodes.
Yep.
That's 7. That's 7 themes and discussion topics that we have to come up with that they're not going to supply us with.
Well, we could get maybe one topic out of the
Hiroshima event.
Yeah.
But I just looked up the date, and that's on a Sunday, so it would be like for the next week.
Really?
Yeah, October 25th is the Sunday.
Wait, isn't Japan ahead of us? So we could like.
That's true. They are. So it would be like overnight probably.
We might be safe there.
What is this?
Yeah.
Wait.
The Hiroshima event, they said they're going to reveal more stuff there. The Fate.
Okay.
That's October 25th, so we might have one topic, but I have a feeling
it's just going to be the fucking.
What are they going to say at this point?
It's just going to be the release date.
They're going to give us the actual release date.
Yep,
and
that's
what
it.
else?
That's it. That's it.
No,
that's all. That's it.
They're going to talk about the Galbadia Garden.
No.
I promise. No. I'll put money on it.
Did they say anything about the dungeons? Anything more about them in this most recent one?
They didn't say shit about shit.
We're going to get the.
Maybe they'll do that.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to give us dungeon teasers and the Galbadia Gardens shit.
I don't think so.
I'll put money on it.
Why do you think that Galbadia Gardens is due in 3.1?
They said it was.
I don't think they did.
They said that. It's called the Saint Mosian's Arbitorium. Yeah. That and Pharaoh Sirius Heart are the new dungeons that are coming out.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily connect with
I promise. Well,
that doesn't.
Oh, you think that like school thing that they've been talking about?
That's what Juxta's talking about. No, you're talking about the 2 dungeons that they've already teased, and yeah, those are definitely going to be in there. What you're talking, the Galbadia Garden thing, I don't see that happening.
That's not the school, or that's not. You don't think so?
No, the Arboretum. The Arboretum is a different thing. The Arboretum is just a dungeon.
Did they say they were doing? Oh, you mean like what they were doing with that library in Ishgard? Is that what you're talking about?
No, they said that the new comedic, funny storyline is going to be connected to what I don't know if Galbadia is the actual name or just that's the name that Juxta has given it is Galbadia, but this whatever the Harry Potter in FF14 thing is going to be. Yeah. That's really all we know is that it's supposedly going to be a magic school somewhere. That's all we know about it, but they haven't given us a release date.
If they gave us that,
it's going to be 3.2.
I would be pleasantly surprised.
3.2. They're not
pleasantly surprised if they give us that in 3.1.
Since they haven't said anything yet, I'm saying 3.2.
No, because they have to.
You don't think they can just surprise us?
They're
pull out of their
shit.
butts.
They're not saving anything for the live. When have they ever?
I promise.
When have they ever announced anything pivotal at a live fate? What they're going to do at the live fate is they're going to go over everything. They're going to. I think Nika's right. They're going to show us the video teasers for the dungeons.
Yeah, there's always that like 13-minute teaser video.
And for Void Ark, and then the only thing that we're going to get that we don't know about, because they're not even saying, "Hey, hold up, guys, we've got more stuff planning, and we're going to find out about it at the Fate event." It's just going to be the date. That's the only thing that we're going to get new outside of maybe some promo videos. Yeah, promo screenshots and videos that may happen, but I guarantee you that there's not going to be anything else that they announce in that. I'll put money on it. I will.
I will put money on it.
Fine. All right.
And that's Harry Potter school thing.
You will put money on that we will get the school in 3.1?
I think so.
All right. I will take that bet.
Okay. How much?
Make it Gil, since Juxta can get a ton of it.
Fuck that.
And he's easily going to lose.
No, if
gosh, you think?
Hang on.
Really?
If I lose, I will forfeit my earnings for that episode.
Okay.
Bonus included.
Wow.
Bonus for the month included.
You will forfeit them to Juxta, or just forfeit them in general?
Forfeit to Juxta. So I'd be doing a show for free, and I'd be giving up a month's worth of bonus.
To you.
How strongly do you feel about it?
Oh, now I want to do research.
How strong? No, you can't do research. No research.
There's no research to be done. They haven't said anything about
it. There's nothing to look up. How confident are you that they're going to deliver Hildebrand or anything kind of even remotely funny
in 3.1?
In 3.1.
Wait. I thought the bet was that it had to do with the school.
The school, Hildebrand. I'll even throw, if they include a Hildebrand in there, you would win. I'm so confident that the school, Hildebrand, nothing funny is coming in 3.1.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'm not saying, not literally, there's never going to be a joke in 3.1.
No.
But they're not going to introduce...
The side quest focusing on comedic stuff with the school.
It's not going to start...
Or Hildebrand.
It's not going to start in 3.1.
In 3.1.
Not going to start in 3.1.
I'll take it.
I'm confused. I want to clarify for a second. When when you say school, is that what they said, that there was going to be like that big like library and Ishgard was going to have quests? Is that what you're talking about? Or is
I don't know what that is. I have no idea what you're talking about there.
There's that big library in Ishgard that you only go to for like 1 or 2 quests.
That's first of all, that's not in Ishgard. That library is in Western Dravania. That was actually the Charlayan.
No. I'm talking about like in Ishgard.
In Ishgard,
there's
like
NPCs in there, and you go talk to them.
Yes, yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Giant library, and you talk to them, and they said that was going to have quests associated with it in the future. Is that the same thing as the school quest, or is that something totally different?
I don't know, Juxta. Would you say if they added more quests? I mean, like
no.
It's got it has to be a side quest,
funny comedic shit,
side quest storyline.
I don't remember them mentioning a school. I remember them mentioning that this library was going to get side quests associated with it. I don't remember hearing anything about a school. I thought that was the school.
I thought
it had to do with like scholars.
It
and
could
research
be.
in the library.
It could be. It very well could be. We don't know. We don't really know. They said that they wanted to have the comedic elements of 3.0.
I don't remember that either. I just remember hearing there will be quests for that place. I don't even remember hearing that it was supposed to be the funny quests. Like, where did you hear that?
But the thing is, they've not said anything about Hildebrand at all.
No.
And I don't know how it happened, but for some reason on the show we have associated those quests in the whatever library thing. We have associated those with what we're assuming that those will be comedic quests. They could not be. If they add quests to that library and they're not comedic, and
that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
I'm just talking about Hildebrand and or funny comedic side.
Yeah, I'm saying that there will be no comedic side quests introduced at all in 3.1.
I'll take that bet.
And the reason that I'm saying that is because they haven't teased it yet.
I think they're going to tease it at the Fate.
I don't think they are.
I think they will.
Well, okay, we'll find out.
I would be pleasantly surprised if they do.
I'd love to be wrong. Nika, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to give up money on this, but I don't think I'm going to.
I don't think there's any way they cannot introduce Hildebrand in 3.1. He came out in 2.1. And he has been in every single odd patch since then.
Okay. I mean, that's not, it's not.
Maybe they'll make him in the even patches this time.
No, they would have added him in 3.0.
No, they had other
the
stuff
even
to do with
patches
3.0.
are the
because
hard,
they did
hard
normal
stuff.
mode and savage mode, so they did a lot for 3.0. I don't think that was indicative at all.
But there's so much of their promo moving up to those those odd number patches. So much of those contain Hildebrand, and the only thing that I can think, the only edge that I think you have here, Juxta, is that maybe they haven't said anything because they don't want people to guess the direction that the story's going to take. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only holdout that you have. But I really think that they would have teased it at least in some form or fashion, and then said, "Hey guys, you guys can, you're going to get main storyline quests and you're going to get some side quests."
I've never had a problem with anyone guessing the direction before. Like you said, the promo for a lot of the patches, like the Ultros one, they flat out showed Ultros in the teaser trailer. Like
exactly.
They didn't even leave that to be a surprise. They spoiled it for you.
No, the only thing that I can think of is that like whatever Hildebrand is going to like whatever the comedic. They may end up mashing a new Hildebrand into a new idea, and just showing him in that context might be a bit spoilery, right? Like that's the only. I granted, I'm overthinking this, and I'm having to do mental gymnastics to get there. But it's the only reason that I could think that they wouldn't tease it until the Fate event. So that's it. Because the thing is they're not even going to live. They're not going to live broadcast the Fate event. They never do.
Yeah,
they never have. And so
they haven't.
And so the only thing,
I can't see them not doing Hildebrand in 3.1.
They're not.
It's going to be a thing.
No, they're going to do comedic stuff. I don't think that they have got it slated for 3.1, and I don't think that they can get it together to get it out for 3.1. I think we're looking at everything that we're going to have. They're not saying, hang on, hold on, there's more. This is exactly...
They said, hold on, we're going to give you more stuff at Fate.
Oh, yeah, and they said exactly the same thing about TGS, and what new things do we have? We have more details about shit that we already knew was coming. We know what the structure is going to be.
And they told us that we're going to have the school shit. They
never said that for 3.1.
But in the very first live letter, when they first said, we will add some quests to the school library thing, that's all they said. They didn't say it'd be for 3.1, but they mentioned it once. Like, they mentioned it. So why would they mention it and then never mention it again?
First of all, I think this is a totally fair bet because, I mean, it could go. It literally could go either way.
It could go either way.
I mean, we're really kind of betting on a hunch. Uh-huh. So it's a fair bet. It's definitely a fair wager for sure. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it with what they've outlined, and I think they would have plugged it earlier if it was slated for it. That's what I think. That's my reasoning, at least.
I feel like they're gonna open up with the hard hitting stuff, like the actual content, and then put forth all like the quests and stuff in this Fate shit. That's what I'm going for.
And it also doesn't count. It also doesn't count if it's like 3.15 that they end up adding it. It has to be 3.1 solid. Can't 3.15 does not count. I'm saying right out of the gate, we know everything that we're going to get on November 10th.
I don't like.
Because I agree, they could hold it back for 3.15 because we don't know anything about that. They've not said anything about what we can expect, in terms of like supplementary content in between then. And usually most of our patches come with a 0.5 patch somewhere in there.
I think if it happens in 3.15 and they say, hey, this shit that we're going to, if they specifically say that the comedic stuff / Hildebrand comes out in 3.15 before 3.1 hits, I think that should null the bet.
No one wins. No
one wins.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. Worked out a bet on here.
There you go. LBR. We're making content because SE won't.
Yeah, exactly. I think on our next episode, we had touched on it in this episode. The significance of Final Fantasy XIV hitting 5 million subs. What does that mean? I think we're gonna spend a little bit more time unpacking that on one of these episodes.
Well, there we go. There's
up.
a topic.
Yeah,
we need 5 more.
Yeah, we got one. And then I think the other thing that you'll probably start seeing to be able to fill this interim is we're probably going to want to be doing some on-air contests and giving some stuff away. To do that, we want a lot of listener participation. We'd love to we don't just want to do like an email contest. We'd love to be able to do like a call-in sort of thing. And that requires a lot of people listening live. We'll have a little bit more info about that on the next episode when we do the episode proper. But I think that we're going to probably design some contests and some giveaways to happen on the show and let that take some of the center stage and take the pressure off of us to find things to talk about, because I think we're really kind of stretching sometimes to be able to find things to talk about in terms of FF14 content. This is a struggle, and the 7. I think the 7 weeks is this is really going to be a challenge for us.
We're in for the long haul.
Yeah. You
thought fucking the patch period before the expansion Heavensward came out was rough. You're in for a bumpy ride.
Yeah, it's this may be tough, and I think it's going to be tough on us. So, but you know what? It's cool because we're up to the challenge, and we just love doing the show. We could have nothing to talk about. We'll still sit around and do the show anyway. So, and again, your support at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio helps us be able to do that. It helps us be able to have the equipment that we need to be able to do the show and troubleshoot. I mean, we've been troubleshooting now for weeks on end. And I have to drive home that this box would have been sitting dead for far longer had it not been for your support, and we would have been hamstringed doing the show for far longer if not for your support. So we thank you so much, and like the last couple of weeks have been tough for us to program. Not just in terms of like coming up with a topic to talk about, but we're getting into that really busy side of the year where those of us that have retail jobs, those hours are starting to ramp up as we get ready for the holidays. Nika is Nika's getting back into the swing of her profession. I'll throw the curtain back a little bit as to what's going on with me. My position over at the radio station that I work in has just basically posted my job for full time. And that has made me really pursue that as a venture that I really want to work out. And it does have a way of pulling my attention away from things like Limit Break Radio and developing the show or developing Final Encountercast. But really it's just, you put in all that hard work and hopefully you get the position. And once I know, then I'll be able to properly allocate more time, and I'll know, I'll know for certain, what's going to be expected of me. Until then, I'm basically campaigning, since it's a job that was posted at an organization that I already work at. It's not like vying for a job when you're not a part of the organization, when you're applying from the outside. It's a bit different when you're applying from the inside, because you have to do campaigning. And I mean that like in the most literal sense of the term. You have to do a lot of campaigning to convince people like, look, I really want this opportunity. I really want this shot. I love working here. I love my coworkers. And and it helps when all of that shit is true. And that's been my challenge for the last couple of weeks, is that I've been wanting to pursue this opportunity in my life, but also having to maintain and balance my responsibilities here, and also do things like go out to Riot Fest, which is not something that I do very often. People who know me personally know that I don't tend to go on trips or road trips, or take vacations or something. I didn't even really consider it a vacation, because I was so stressed out about where am I going to stay and how am I going to get to the venue and how am I going to get to Chicago and all of this shit, that it was difficult for me to relax. It was definitely a fun thing to do, but it wasn't like a vacation for me. So knowing, just putting all of that out there so you know what we're dealing with as people. These kinds of things do impact our ability to produce the show and to keep creating the show. But your support is the counterbalance to that. Your support financially makes us feel as if we have a responsibility to be here. And that's no bullshit. I mean, I think that, given everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks, that we could have very easily internally said, hey, we need to cancel this show and just come back fresh next week. And, it'll be a way better show. And we may be right because of it. But your support actually makes us, at least I'll speak for myself. It makes me feel like I have an obligation to be here and to put something out and to put something together, even if 2 hours prior I'm freaking out about hardware configurations and trying desperately to get a stream up. That's stuff that is, it stresses me out to a great degree, but I feel like it is all worth it and justified in the end because of your support at Patreon. So, I know that we say thank you a lot, but it really is no bullshit. You guys really make this possible, and I always want to make sure that's something that I mention and that I focus on, because it's really important. So thank you guys. All right, I think that's going to do it for our post show today. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Juxta, you were responsible for last week's post show, which apparently got
out this morning.
It got posted this Sunday morning. That's probably not a good idea.
Well, to be fair, I was sick and I didn't know how to do it.
All right, that is fair. And then the week before that, we didn't cut a post-show video either. My intention was to do a travelogue of my travels out to Riot Fest, but that actually didn't end up panning out. There's a few reasons that it didn't end up panning out, and one of them is I filled up the iPad, and I couldn't figure out how to get space on there.
Right? It's so hard to delete shit.
It's fucking confusing as shit.
I hate the iPhone, and
I was very frustrated by that, and I had to walk away from it. So unfortunately, I mean, I have the very first video where I'm like, I'm going to do a travelogue from out at Riot Fest while these guys are back at home doing the show and doing the studio thing and whatever, and then after that there's just nothing because it filled up all the space on the iPad, and I'm just like, I'm deleting photos. Why can't I? Oh fuck! It's so frustrating. I fucking hate that thing. So
iPhones are terrible about that.
I really do apologize. I wanted to do something kind of special and unique because we were so burned out after finishing that episode that we just could not sit down and record it on a 45-minute post show. So we do apologize. We're going to make sure that doesn't continue to happen. But yeah, next week is going to be a great show. We're going to have hopefully Ascali and Kahlo back and running with a full crew and doing Final Encounter cast. So it's going to be an exciting week that you won't want to miss.
Hit you hard.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Of course, be there next Sunday. It's going to be a fun time. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the green room video, the post show video, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.